So now, to get on with our main event today, I will turn it over to Dr. Ski here, the president of everybody's favorite community college, a man that needs no introduction, but prefers to introduce himself.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, good afternoon, everyone. It is nice to see you all. And thank you for being here. And for those on Zoom, thank you as well, to listen to a little about your favorite community college. But before we do that, Matt has asked if I would find out who's in the audience. So could I ask you to raise your hands and clasp them down on your lap and hold them in a clasp form for just a moment? We'd like to know how many of you have your right thumb over your left, right over left. Right over left. Let's take a look, crowd. Okay, you're the sneaky ones. Okay. And how about left over right? How many of you have left over it? Look at that's the majority of the group, and you're the sexy ones. So it's nice to know we have sexier ones here than we do sneaky ones. So it's a good way just for us to find out who we are, so we at least have a better idea when you come up here to present. But what I'd like to do is I would like to give you a very short update on the college. As you know, over the last 2 years, more or less, we have been remote. And so that has created all kinds of opportunities for us at the college. And so I have a few slides that I want to show you. We're not going to get into too many facts and figures, but I know we have a couple alums out here. Steve, I know. Any other alums that would raise their hand to let the world know? Yeah, everyone has gone through HACC in one way or another, right? So let's proceed. There are how many campuses? There are 5 campuses, right? Gettysburg, Harrisburg, Lancaster, Lebanon, and York. We serve a 10-county area. So we have the largest geographic area in the state. And we also have the largest number of students. So we're the largest community college in Pennsylvania. So let's go to a little trivia. So Peggy Grove, we have some HACC masks. Okay, HACC masks for those that get the trivia questions right. When was HACC founded? A, B, or C? B. We have gotten a B. Very wrong. C. C. 1964. Yep. The year you were born, Ellen. Yep. Year you were born. So they are 1964. That's right, Ellen. The photo here is interesting because we had a lot of students. As you know, majority of our students are remote. And so this was a student who submitted this photo. She was not only learning herself, but she was teaching her child in homeschool. So what I wanted to do is bring Harrisburg and Steelton together, since this is the Harrisburg Club. We get a few McDivitt students, but not many. We get mainly Steelton and Harrisburg. You'll see here we have almost 200 Harrisburg High and Steelton High students with us. Last fall, we had a little over 15,000 students. So what's going on in Harrisburg and Steelton? There are a couple things. We're starting them at the age of 13. We have something called Harrisburg Promise, where in 6th and 7th grade, they start coming on the campus one day a week, one day a month, as well as a few other things that we, as juniors and seniors, we get out there and expose them to the different careers that are available, and they will actively participate. You'll see some photos from our architecture program, our CNA program, and there's one of the young women from Steelton who's on campus once a month with these prized masks. So no surprise here. Community colleges have many more part-time students than they do full-time students. If you take a look here, you'll see that we had a tremendous amount of part-time students because some are working 2 jobs. So a little trivia, what is the average age of a Steelton and Harrisburg High student? Ted, I'm looking right at you. What do you think? You say C, 27 and a half. Ted, you're the first to get a mask. Yes, very good. Very good. Yep. That is right. Harrisburg and Steelton, the average age is 27. Way to go, Ted. 27 and a half. The average age for the whole college is 25. So a little older crowd from Harrisburg. This gives you an idea of our race and ethnicity. Again, mostly white, but we do have a strong growing African-American population followed by a Latino population. We have lost 17% of our African-American students over the last 2 years. We have lost 19% of our Latinx students over the last 2 years. So 5 majors, no surprise. Number 1 is business. And then it works its way down. General studies, where they're able to transfer to a 4-year school, is quite popular as well. And of course, nursing. So if any of you end up on a gurney and you're at our favorite hospital today, UPMC, you can say, hey, you're a big supporter of HACC. They'll take really good care of you because it's almost like 8 out of 10 nurses all went through the HACC program. So Hershey's okay too, Ted. But so here are some fast facts for you on your favorite community college. There are 100 programs that are offered at the college, and that number continues to come down because we want to keep it as focused as possible. We are the second largest educator of military in the state, second largest. And we'll talk about who's first. The nice thing for employers is 80% of our graduates stay within a 25-mile radius. Whereas if they went to any of the other 4-year schools around here, they're usually gone, they go back home. We are looking at more of the students, more of the individuals who have some college but no degree. There are about 300,000 individuals in our whole service region who have some college and no degree. College and the high school, those kinds of high school programs are really important, but because our high school population is declining until 2026, we are focusing our area on people who are a little older. Allied Health with UPMC and Hershey, that's our largest program. 1/3 of all our students are involved in some kind of allied health, respiratory care, surg tech, nursing. We have 1,300 nursing students. We also have the second highest pass rate for the RN certification in the state. Drexel is number 1, and we're number 2. Over 90% of our students pass the NCLEX the very first time. And then going through that, I did talk about some of our students of color and how they decline. So a little trivia again for an ask. So as far as our male-female percentages, and this is, well, female-male population, what do you think? A, B, or C? Percentage of female, percentage of male. What do you think? B. How many? B, what'd you say, Scott? B, okay. John said C. So, others may have said C, but John, you get a mask for C. So 36% of our population, 36% are female. And that is standard across the board, 64%. No surprise, we're not unique. More and more women are in college, even 4-year schools. There are a higher percentage of women than men. What's interesting to note with us too is we are very concerned about our minority male population. We lost a significant number of our Black and our Latino students over this pandemic as well, mainly for work. Many of them lost work. Many have gone back to work and are making $20, $25 an hour, down 81. And so they told us that they want to put their education on hold until they get through the pandemic. So over 100 transfer agreements for some of you. I don't think there's anyone in this audience old enough. There was a time where community college credits wouldn't transfer to a 4-year school. They do today. We have students at Cornell and Harvard and Tulane and other places. But the top 3 in this area that we transfer most of our students to, you can see there. We'd love to see Penn State be number 1, but right now Millersville is number 1, followed by Penn State and Shippensburg. So that's 1, 2, and 3. So military, there's a trivia question for you. Who is the number 1 educator of military? Number 1. Who? Undergraduate military. Good, Una. So yes, Temple. Okay, that's a choice. Yes. Thank you. You're 0 for 2. That's good. You're going to get a consolation, man. Somebody says C. Dave says C. That we're number 2. Number 2. A place. Thank you. What about a place that's located in Sad Valley? The Penn State. Yeah, in Sad Valley. They are located. They are number 1. They provide more education to military and their spouses than any other institution in Pennsylvania, then followed by HACC. The others I threw in there just because maybe some of you attended. The photo is kind of interesting. On 9/11, we had a 20th anniversary, and it was at the campus. And the beam that you see there was given to us from the New Jersey Port Authority. Our folks were the first at Ground Zero, 9/11/2001, and 2 of the speakers were from that event. And these are the flags of all those first responders who died, 635, somewhere around there. They were all on the property. So Harrisburg, the campus itself. Yeah, we have 5 campuses, but you're more concerned about Harrisburg, right? So it is the largest. There are 14 buildings. It's been around since 1964. And we have an arboretum. For those that are new to the area, there is an arboretum on the Harrisburg campus. You're more than welcome to come to. Here's a crown jewel in our area. We have the largest public safety and fire academy programs in the state of Pennsylvania, the largest. We have people from FEMA and DC and other places come to train. We have people from Korea that come to train at the HACC facility. We've got some space underground. We've got just a lot going on in our public safety, especially our fire and police. And so most of the firemen, and they are men at Harrisburg, are all graduates of HACC, and majority of the police officers in Harrisburg are graduates of HACC and that program. And then Midtown 1, here's something I want to clarify. We have still 2 buildings in Midtown. We have one on the corner of 3rd and Riley, and we have one at 4th and Riley. We have always leased the building on 3rd. If you do pass by there now, you'll see it's been renamed. It's the Pennsylvania STEAM Academy, because we are no longer in the building. We leased the building through the end of June, but we are totally out of that building. We did not renew the lease. We do own the building on 4th, so we moved some programs there, or on the Harrisburg campus. So we will have a presence in Midtown, just not at 2 locations, just 1 location. And that's where our welding and some career training is. So some pandemic updates, trivia for you regarding the pandemic. So we have offered our students 5 different ways to take classes. And I know that all of you are familiar with some of them. The 2 that you may not be, one is hybrid. And that is where they would come to class on a Monday and they would take class on Wednesday from home or wherever they are. And a lot of our students have taken class from Sheets or from Wawa in Lancaster because they offer free Wi-Fi. So during the height of the pandemic, many of our students were in those gas stations taking their classes because they did not have internet at home. HiFlex is something that's interesting. It's a new term, but it would allow you to have, if you were a teacher, you have a screen on the wall, so you're able to see the Peggy Groves and others of the world at home, but then you would have everyone in front of you in class. So it's called HiFlex. So you can teach folks that'll be on the screen or right in front of you. I talked about health related. 30% of our classes are on ground right now. So we only have about 2,500, 3,000 students on the ground now. Mental health, you may have seen some stuff that was in the press about mental health. We are able to offer mental health 24/7, 365. It's a big issue in colleges. I'm sure that our friends at Penn State and others have seen that as well. Counseling has really increased a lot. We were able to receive $27 million from the federal government during the height of the stimulus dollars. And so our students received about $632 a piece. And you'll see we had the vaccination clinics on the Harrisburg campus, and over 27,000 individuals were vaccinated. So a little trivia, and what's fun here is Tamara Willis is the woman on the far right, your far right. She is a graduate of the college, and she's superintendent of the Susquehanna Public Schools. And so how many alumni? Steve, I'm going to ask you about this one, Steve. Steve's whose first name begins with a C. What do you think as far as how many alums do we have that have gone through HACC over its 58 years? What do you think? Oh, C. Did you say C? Up, Steve, you get a mask. Very good. Very good. I'm sure you will. Thank you, Steve. So there you are, over 100,000 graduates of the college over its 58 years. Yep. The foundation. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about our foundation. Like any good college, we are very delighted that some of you in this room, hopefully next time I talk in 3 years, it'll be everyone, will have been a donor to the college, an investor in the college. I like to say that at one time when the college was founded in 1964, we were supported by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And then a few years later, we were assisted by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And now we are located in the state of Pennsylvania. We have a $130 million budget, and we get 10% of that from the state of Pennsylvania. So from our foundation, we have close to $50 million in the foundation that we are able to use for our students and for employees. It is the second largest community college foundation. The first is Northampton. An individual died and left her whole estate to the college. And so how nice for her. And how nice for the college. Over the pandemic now, here's some fun facts to know and tell. The foundation was very generous to our students. We gave out nearly 500 computers and hotspots to students who did not have computers or hotspots, internet capability. You'll also see that we offered over 80 $1,000 or $2,000 gifts to students to help them with their tuition. And a lot of money went towards the purchasing of technology. And so if any of you are thinking about your end of year giving, obviously scholarships are a good place, but also funds for excellence, where our faculty can use those funds for equipment and those kinds of things. You'll see a class here. This was a class, a biology class, and everyone has to mask when they're on campus and when they're in a classroom. Finally, what can you do to help us as a college? There's a couple things. One, you'll see, and this woman was at Bed Bath & Beyond, because it's amazing how many alum you find in the community. You know, if I wear my HACC shirt, inevitably somebody's going to come up like Steve does. Hey, I went to HACC. And so this young lady is the assistant manager at the Bed Bath & Beyond. So if you mention HACC, you'll get a little discount at Bed Bath & Beyond, maybe 20%. So we have great representatives throughout our 10 county service region. Patty Kim and John DeSantos are here in Harrisburg. They represent us, and Sue Helm. Sue Helm is a graduate of the college as well. Anyway, they are very supportive. John DeSantos' wife is a graduate of the college. And then for you who own businesses and need and want some training, we like to look at ourselves as being a portable training department, HR and training department, anything from leadership, computer, whatever it may be. Internships, we are looking for opportunities for our students. Now, the vast majority of our students are already employed, vast majority are, but that minority of student who isn't, we're always looking for a good internship. Finally, invest in HACC. And again, you can come and visit. I'd be more than happy to give you a tour of our favorite community college. So I want to thank you for your attention. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you. Una.
Do you know why the number of minority students has declined?
Yes, the question was, why have our students of color, why have they declined, mainly our Latinx and our Black students? And the main reason has been kind of trifold. One is it has to do with employment. So many were unemployed and became employed and now are making $20, $25 an hour. And so they have told us on the phone when we have talked to them that that has happened. The other is childcare has gotten very expensive and they are not able to work, go to school and afford childcare. So they had to let go either childcare or school. So school was it. And the third had to do with transportation. And what I find interesting about that is our tutoring and our advising and counseling has skyrocketed like a hockey stick because they don't have to drive. You can set up an appointment and not leave your home. And that really has helped in tutoring, advising, and counseling. So those would be some of the reasons, Una, that they have informed us that they're going to put school on hold for a moment. Amy.
Dear, question. So, in my space, one of the things that is important to us is veterinary services and veterinary care. And I think everybody, even though you don't work in the space, is aware we have a crisis with respect to veterinarians. And there's been a lot of talk, about the idea of, can we advance veterinary technicians to be allowed to do more? Can we maybe come up with more veterinary assistant training, more of a 2-year program, very similar to what we do for nurses? Are you guys looking at anything like that, expanding those kind of offerings and looking at that opportunity on any of the campuses?
Yes. So for those on Zoom, if you didn't hear, wondering, will HACC be getting into the veterinary science business of training certificates or 2 years? We are investigating it. And so the answer is yes. But Amy, I will tell you, the accrediting bodies and your veterinary association are not extremely easy to work with. So it's a very expensive program to begin. So the answer is yes, we're looking at it. And once we do our research to present to the accrediting body, if they give a yellow light, we'll proceed and pursue it a little bit more. Yeah. Farm tech, pharmacy technicians, all the technicians, that's kind of the wave of the future. And that's where community colleges are in a good space when it comes to that. Peggy.
You mentioned that childcare is one of the obstacles. I imagine that's also the case for some of your female instructors. And I'm wondering if you would think about doing a childcare program. Not only, I had a private proprietary school back in the 80s, and I instituted a program where people could bring their children to the school, and we use them as training for childcare workers to do preschool education, et cetera. I'm wondering if you might want to add that to your program.
Well, Peggy, because you have always been a leader, we followed your lead and we do that. We have childcare on 3 of our 5 campuses. Pollock Center, it's all run by UGRO. We've outsourced it to UGRO. So we do provide childcare to our employees and the students, and employees and students can bring their children in. We also have a childcare center on our campuses where they're able to engage their own children if they can. Yes, because we have an early childhood program. And we do that, yes. Yep, through non-credit and credit. Yes. Dave.
Ski, I was once told there was no such thing as a stupid question.
That's right.
Well, back when I was in high school, 2-year colleges were called junior colleges. When did this nomenclature evolve to become community colleges?
It started in the late 70s. You were probably in high school in the early 70s, maybe mid 70s. And it was probably the late 70s, early 80s that some stayed junior around, especially Ivy League schools. So William and Mary, there is a college nearby that's a junior college. And it provides most of the students to William and Mary. Same at Stanford in California and other places. Those community colleges maintain that. We moved into community colleges because we became we're not only transferred to a 4-year school, we're career technical. So nursing, manufacturing, logistics, that is kind of the differences in now a community college. It's more encompassing. Where junior was mainly just transfer.
Thank you very much.
Yep. And there is a stigma. If you went to high school in the mid to late 70s, there's still that stigma that we still work on. But with the 100 transfer agreements, it's a new day. Yeah, new day. Oh, sure.
I think Karen online had a comment in regards to your Wi-Fi, how you said that a couple of students were getting Wi-Fi from Cheats and other places. She also said that students can also get access for Wi-Fi at the Dauphin County library system.
Yes, and we have promoted that. You know, our Karen is a very proud HACC graduate as well. And so we have promoted the library. We now have the ability at the college to have students come on the campus and the Wi-Fi is able to reach their cars, but we opened our library. And so the library now provides that service as well. But it's amazing how many students, one, don't have the internet in their home. And we know that broadband is an issue in Pennsylvania. And so it is an issue for some of our students who live kind of in the north part of our area, the Dauphin area, Mifflin, Juniata, that area there, as well as down in Franklin and Adams County. There are some challenges in that area. So not everyone is privileged enough to have excellent internet.
And Andy Hetrick also had a question for you. Andy, you can either unmute or if you want, I can read your question off. His question is, what are your thoughts regarding the free community college provision and the proposed human infrastructure plan?
Well, Andy, it's, as you could expect, it's a very complicated question. So the president and the person he sleeps with, as you know, are both big fans of community colleges. In fact, the First Lady does teach at Northern Virginia Community College, and they are very strong proponents of it. Needless to say, Pennsylvania is one of 12 states where legislation would have to change regarding funding and all for us to even be considered to be recipients of any of those dollars. But let me tell you this, there already are lobbyists who are spending millions of dollars from the four-year and the independent schools who will not let community colleges be the only recipients of dollars to be able to provide students with free education. And we have to remember, Tennessee started this, something called Tennessee Promise. Those are last dollars. So individuals have to get Pell, they may have to go through the foundation and get scholarships, and then whatever's remaining, that's what comes up. And right now, the legislation that's written in Pennsylvania doesn't allow for that. And again, we're one of 13 states, so that would have to change. And there is conversation that's going on regarding that. So we're excited that we're getting the press, but we are also not as optimistic as we once were. And like anything, it could take years. You know, the subway in New York took 10 years to get approved. So, you know, at least getting out the issue of community colleges and all is a start, and we're grateful for that. But we'll see how it all works. And this week could be a big week for that, because we know that that's part of that $3 trillion package. And let's see what happens regarding votes on that.
All right. Are there any other online questions? We'd love for somebody on the Zoom call to ask a question. We can hear you in the audience.
Sam Levine, there he is. He's a graduate of the college. Look at all these graduates, and everybody else there wanted to be a graduate, but they weren't able to.
Anybody volunteers? All right, give him a shot.
Ski, I have a question real quick, if you don't mind.
Yeah, please.
The esports stuff that HACC's been doing recently has been phenomenal. Congrats on the Rocket League win this past weekend here. That's a pretty new thing coming to the future. What else does HACC have its eyes set on for in the future?
Well, as far as, let me just, if you don't mind, real quick, esports, you all have heard, and Harrisburg U is like the grand poobah of it all, and we've learned from them. We continue to learn from them. And so we have over 150 students now involved in esports. And what's been phenomenal about that is that, you know, not everybody's an athlete, a physical athlete. And so they've come on to do esports. And so our competition is growing. But we are seeing more and more students. We even had a dozen students say they came to us from Dauphin County Tech because of our esports program. Who knew? And so that's growing. As far as other programs like that, we're on a hold basis because of the pandemic. You know, it's a little difficult being remote in most cases. So we're on hold a bit. We're just trying to make sure we can get through all this. You know? Yeah, but we're excited about esports. If there are no further questions, Matt, I would like to thank you for giving me this book that'll have my name in it. I very much appreciate that. So thank you, Matt, for all of that. Adeline, thank you very much. Really appreciate that. And again, know that we as your college are here, and anything that we can do for you, we look forward to serving in any way we can. So thank you very much.